What screams at this? Anybody? This is, come on, we're talking.
Isolation.
Isolation, right? Well, go deeper, go deeper. Everything would say go deeper.
Loneliness.
Loneliness, right? Okay.
If you're not supported by your community, why would you care?
If I'm not supported, why would I care?
Maybe everyone like is yearning to feel that connection, but it's all different from different circumstances.
Everyone is yearning to feel. If I was to take a picture of this room, click, and I blow it up to the size of this board, what would be the first thing you look for? Yourself. Right? You want to see you got the good side of your face? Look the bad side. Got my hair, right? And if you don't see yourself, if you're not in the picture, what do you look for? Somebody you know, somebody you connect. And what happens when you don't see yourself in that picture? You become disinterested. It's like somebody showing you pictures, like, I don't know any significance to this picture. What happens when a person don't feel a connection to his or her community? They become disinterested. And you have so many children that live in the city, in Athens, who feel completely disconnected from Athens. In fact, they can't wait to get out of Athens. Meanwhile, we have hundreds of thousands of people all across the state that can't wait to come to UJ and have the experience of their lives. So something is happening, right? You got people here that can't wait to leave, and you got a whole bunch of people that can't wait to get here, right? So you'll see a little bit of the work. What happens with that village when a person don't feel that love, that connection to the village? What happens? I become disinterested, and I'm going to give this village my pain, right? What does that pain look like? Right? Any type of work that we try to do when we talk about resistance, we need to understand what are we looking at. Now again, we're talking 2014 to 2018. What stands out to you? Anybody? Right? Okay, anything else? What stands out? Right? This is what screamed at me. 78% of the kids, juveniles, were being picked up for what? Loitering. So what do we do when we hang out Georgia Day, we drinking? What are we doing? Loitering. Okay, let's keep going, right? So 78% was being picked up for loitering. Right? What else screamed out? Right? 76.6, entering order, burglary, theft. What are these crime of? Desperation. Right? We have the $2 billion institution in our backyard. You have millions, billions of dollars running through, but you have people in this community that don't feel connected. They don't feel like they're getting any connection to this, right? So when I start to look at this, what are we seeing? Young girls afraid, fighting, disorderly conduct. When I start to look at this, I said, okay, we have a problem, right? And the question was always, do we have a gang problem or do we have a youth development problem in the city? So the idea was to take my passion and direct it into this space, right? So why we got kids, why? Level of trauma. We started asking kids, how many of y'all work a lot in the juvenile system, right? How many of y'all have problem concentrating? Everybody raise their hand. How many of y'all feel angry all the time? And everybody raise their hand. And it's like, okay, so there's something deeper, right? So we know that we have some deep-rooted trauma into this work. So I'm showing you this because while a lot of it is passion, we have to marry our passion with what does the data say and how do I really bring about some work that will bring about a level of change, right? Let's keep going. So what do? We found a way to bake in trauma-informed practice into all of our work in this community. And this is the boring part because I'm going to show you the fun part soon, right? So we wanted to create a safe space that all the kids can come in, feel safe, they trust the counselors and the therapists and everybody that's coming through. They're learning to be patient with themselves and be patient with each other, right? Peer support, collaboration. You'll see a lot of that in the display today. Cult identity. Who are you? Why are you? Why do you exist? And again, all this was going on in my head, going crazy. And poetry was my way to release. And when I met Aralee, we was able to really now bring this thing out and bring that vision into play. And we're going somewhere with this, right? Value, you're important. You have a purpose. This is who you are. This is why you are. Let's keep going. Positive youth development models, right? So I'm just bringing up some things so people are like, well, is it evidence-based? You know, you all say, right? This is evidence-based. Yes. This is the framework we're using, right? POD, person and environment, positive youth development models. We use all these different models, but we add a cultural component to it, and where we're able to reach the kids where they need to be. Right? So let's keep going. I'm just going to go through the boring part, then I'm going to show you the exciting part. Now, everybody, somebody please read this. Everybody want to talk this again, right? What does this say?
Takes time or village to raise a child.
This is probably the most overused quote I've ever heard in my time, right? I've heard it when I was a baby, and I still hear it. You know what I mean? It takes an entire village to raise a child, right? And how important is this? Because I had to start looking at, when we think about resistance, a lot of times we take our passion and we don't find ways to align it with other people that may be in the same space, that may be struggling with the same things, that may want to make an impact but don't know where, don't know how to begin. So it takes an entire village. I had to realize that, okay, while the work we do is phenomenal, is impactful, I can't do this thing alone. I am a small piece of the puzzle, right? So what do we have to do? We have to get, I saw you, Pen, what you was pointing at?
My dad used to work for the Department of Youth Justice.
Okay, so DJ, so we got a connection already, right? See? So from Chamber of Commerce to the library to the University of Georgia, school of social work to, you know, just it takes an entire village connecting with all of these different components. In that way, we're able to make an impact. Because people say, well, you can't change the system. The system is designed to fail. The system is designed. What you're seeing is part of the process. This is what the system is designed to breed. So we can either get into the system and find a way to try to change from within, and sometimes it swallows us, or we can find a way to coordinate and work with these systems in a way where it can make better sense. And I'm just going to all come clear to you soon. Let's keep going. So when we started the work, you said, I'm going to start with kids ages 11 all the way to 21. My work was in the juvenile system, and it was like a revolving door. They just kept revolving through. And I said, okay, I have to figure out a way to stop this process, to stop them from coming through this space. And they were coming in younger and younger. So started to say, you know what, we're going to start teaching them how to play chess. And you know, kids like, you want to play chess? Like, kids like, no, I don't want to play no chess. Yeah, no, chess for the nerds. I'm not with all that. And the first thing I would say is, if you beat me in chess, I give you $100. Let's go. Let's go. That was always my thing. So I always had to keep $100 on me. And I had to give it away like one time. It hurt in my pocket too. It hurt me, and I had to give that away. You beat me in chess, I give you $100. That drew them into the board. So, right? It drew them into the space. Now I want to learn. Right? Because I want to get that $100. But what they eventually learned was so much more valuable than that $100. Right? So we start at age 11, and we started at 13. Then we went back to 11 because then I'm a social worker. So it's like, oh, I got to get them younger. We got to get them younger. And somebody said, stop it. We can't put an 18-year-old in a room with a 10-year-old, right? It's two different developmental stages, right? So these are real things that as you're thinking about engaging, developing communities, these are things that you think about. So what are we doing? Founded in Athens, 2024, established in 2024, but we became a nonprofit in 2012. And right now we're serving over 450 kids, not just in Athens, but throughout the state of Georgia, right? So let's keep going, right? Mission, usually people have the elaborate mission. My mission is to blah, blah, blah. Keep it simple, right? To expose students to new ways of thinking and being. Exposure, right? And I can remember me being in New York City, you know, being in, you can blindfold yourself in New York, get a dart, throw it somewhere on the map, and wherever it lands, you can say, I want to take school from that country today. And find it. It could be an adventure in New York. But in my mind, my neighborhood, that was my life. So yeah, I was on the train to go here and there, but my neighborhood was my life. This is what I saw. This is how I saw the world. So you can live of the world, but your mind can be so caged, and where you only see things from one perspective. So exposure. When my mom said, no, I'm going to take you to a school in Manhattan. I want to let you see graphic arts. I want you to see other things. Exposure. Oh, man, look at people. Look at, right? So exposure is the root to a lot of the work that we're doing. Let's keep going. Right? Why chess? I could have chose Monopoly. I could have chose spades and spades. I ain't seen no hands. Okay, we got a spades player, right? Right? We got Monopoly, right? Well, I could have chose any game. I chose chess because I wanted to challenge that thought process. When you think of chess, you think of what? Intellectual. You see my voice change, right? Prestige. The gentleman's game. As they say, right? This is what people say chess, this is what they think about. Right? So I wanted to, when you think of a lot of our youth, sometimes impulsive, they think of crime because that's what we have been programmed to believe about us. Right? So resistance is about how do we challenge that programming. Right? So now, okay, so they've been programmed to see chess this way, and they've been programmed to see youth in this way. Let me merge them together. Right? So this is sort of why chess, it develops critical thinking, it develops concentration, all the things you hear about chess, but the most important ones that I'm gonna focus on, where we at, it's not there, systems thinking. I don't have it there, systems thinking, but we're gonna go in there, right? So when I'm teaching chess, I'm not just teaching chess so you can become a master and a grandmaster, any chess players we have in this room. Because I'm gonna make sure that we don't, right? So it's not gonna be a chess lecture, right? We wanna keep it in, right? But I don't teach them to be chess, to be masters and grandmasters. We teach them systems thinking. How do you engage systems? So when we think about resistance, the first thing we have to think about systems. How do systems around us work? What are the products that systems around us are producing, right? And my job is to now correlate what each piece on that chessboard means and how it relates to the system that child is in. So when I'm teaching a little football player, guess what? This is the O line, this is the D line, this is your wide receiver, this is your running back, this is your fullback, the king, that's your quarterback, this is the D line. I'm using whatever that child that is in front of me, I'm connecting with what they understand about the world, and then I'm teaching them how to engage and how to think. Why? Because when I was that kid walking to school in the morning, them old heads used to always, come here, young man, sit down and play. I'm not trying to sit. But when I would sit down, and they didn't just teach me chess, they taught me life. How to start thinking. What are the moves? Think before you move. Look at strategies. What's your plan? How are you engaging in this? So now when I found myself in the juvenile system, working with youth, I took the same framework and said, now I'm going to start teaching it, but through my own engagement with a lot of young people. Are y'all still with me? Say yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just make sure y'all still alive, right? So chess only comprises about 10-15% of the work that we do, right? Because chess alone is not going to, kids like, oh, chess is a phenomenon. Right? How many people watch Queen's Gambit? Right? Phenomenal movie, right? Right? Phenomenal movie. You see that, you're like, oh man, I'm ready to play chess. Right? But if I was to tell you that I know homeless people, I know a person that can blindfold themselves right now, get on the board and play 10 people blindfolded. But he can't find a job. He can't find a job. Right? So chess alone is not the end all be all. We need to start developing social skills. Right? We need to start seeing where is the world going and how am I going to engage this world? And how am I going to prepare the next generation? So these are some of our core enrichment programs. Bishops and bots. For kids, bishops and bots. Right? And Saturday, you'll get a chance if you're lucky enough to come on Saturday, or if you want to come on Saturday and meet some of the students and learn chess, you'll get to meet some of these kids, bishops and bots. Then we have our Project Rewire program, where we're going to rewire the way you see yourself, and we're going to rewire the way you see the world. Then we have our Next Move. This is the program that we are running in the prisons, in the jails. Right? And you see some of the artwork going right here. I literally just came from the jail this morning. And this is the work that we're doing in the jails with the young men and the young women, the incarcerated people, right? This is our after-school program. This is our Pawn Accelerator. This is for more of the older, learning about robots and building robots and coding robots. And this is our Rooks Rising, going into communities, going into projects and all these different places and setting up Saturday programs there. So these are programs that we've had to implement throughout the years. That started with just chess. This is more than chess. And you'll see that in real time. Bishops and bots. think it, build it, play it. This is what they do. They build robots, they engage, and we're teaching them about snap circuits and just get their little minds wired into becoming engineers or whatever it is that they want to get engaged into, right? We got Project Rewire, where you'll see some aspects of this, and this is the Chamber of Commerce. Anybody know what is the purpose of the Chamber of Commerce? Huh? I mean, it's a place. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know the purpose of the Chamber of Commerce. But I eventually learned. Like, there's so much hidden things in your community that you need to get to know. Right? Get to know. This is David Bradley. He's the founder, he's the director of the Chamber of Commerce. They represent the business interests in the community. So if you have something you want to engage, you better figure out what's going on with the Chamber. And I didn't know about, even when I was a college student, I didn't know about the Chamber of Commerce, but when I did find out and learn about the Chamber of Commerce and learn about what they did, guess what? Now I'm going to bring all these kids out there so they too can learn about the Chamber of Commerce and their purpose, right? Again, learn in this community, get to engage. This is the work that we're doing in the jails. We're just doing healing circles. I created a circle called the Echo Circle. It's crazy work, crazy, nasty work. When I said nasty, I'm using that in a good way. Right? Nasty work, right? But it's a good work. The work we're doing in the jails, teaching them chess, teaching them debates, teaching them how to engage. A lot of second chance. A lot of them either have a year, 2 years left, and we're preparing them so when they come home, we can at least get them employed, get them into a second chance opportunity. But most important, if there's an incarcerated father, if there's an incarcerated mom inside, where are their children? Right? So this is a two-gen approach. For a lot of their children, they get to be in our programs, and our programs are free. Our programs are free. So nonprofit is free because we get some generous support and supporters and people that help us through this process, right? So this is the next move. This is our after-school programs that we do. You can just hear kids, let them just be kids. Build. Tell them your mind. So what's going on here, young chemist?
I'm just trying to drop it out as slow as I can, trying to get that perfect circle.
So you should get
The perfect circle.
like this.
Okay.
You come over
Right.
early.
We work at the Boys and Girls Club. We have work at the Boys and Girls Club. We have work at some of the elementary schools around town. And this is, again, we bring in engineering students from NSB. We bring in engineering students from the University of Georgia that wants to get a chance to learn and engage. There's an opportunity to do that, right? Now, this is one of my favorites, right? And we also do work with the police. And this is part of the Pawn Accelerator. They have to build robots, they have to code robots, and they use these robots to move these chess pieces. And they get to compete with police officers. So we have this program happening in Athens, Atlanta, Macon. This is what this program does. Why this is done? Allowing kids to see that, and some of these kids come from communities that they don't have opportunities. So when they see police officers living life, this is the mayor of Atlanta. This is part of the Atlanta engagement that we have. This is the chief of Atlanta. We have the same program happening in Athens and Macon. Let's keep going, right? All right, I don't want to hold y'all too long. Y'all with me so far? Say yeah. Y'all look like, it's been a long day. I know. I'm going to try to entertain y'all, keep it excited as I can. This is the Ropes Rising program. This is a program where the kids, we put a whole bunch of little robots and stuff in front of them, and these kids just go ahead and build it. This is a program happening in Nelly B. Anybody know what Nelly B is at? Yeah, this is a program happening in Nelly B, and we have another program happening in Rock Spring.
What are these cords for?
Right? So these kids on Saturday, so you can connect. This is the program that they get to engage in. Right? But how does it work? Right? How does it work? Right? This is an opportunity for you to see how nobody on this board can make a move until everyone is in agreement.
That one.
These are young minds.
Okay, I got it.
What's our motto? What's the motto? No one can move until everybody's in agreement. So this is the Kings versus the chess champs. They're working together. They're thinking together. They have to think together. You see how they're thinking together? Yo, chess champs, y'all need to start thinking together. They're working together. You see it? Okay, they're working together.
Sorry.
Think together as a team.
I want to say nothing. Just take it. Good job.
Good job. Okay. See, why is this important? Because more than likely these kids. I need you to get in the game. You're going to be the next athlete. You're going to be the one. Competition. And with testing communities about how do we retrain. We looked up like the trauma informed. How do we teach them to start working together, to start engaging together? This is where resistance can really be more impactful. You got to understand who you're working with. So this is a feeder system. So we go with the Boys and Girls Club is a feeder into our program. Let's keep going. Now, when we think about if you forget anything I said today, understand that there's 4 elements to chess and community, 4 core leadership. We call ourselves like a leadership incubator. We want to incubate the next generation of leaders, and we know that they need to have critical thinking. They need to understand how to resolve conflict. They need to understand how problem solving. We do that through robotics, AI, and a lot of other activities, and civic leadership. Those are the 4 core process or 4 core pillars of chess and community that we use to develop leaders, right? So critical thinking, strategic development. How do we get them to understand the chessboard and take all of the pieces off the board and put their life on the board? And say, what's your next move? What's your next 5 years? Your next 10 years? What do you see? How do you plan to engage? So we move all the pieces and we put their life. All right, you want to go to college? How you going to get there? You want to go into this career? How you plan to do that? Who you need to connect with? And this is what this work does, right? Let's keep going. Debates. Right, and the sound is going off here and there, but I got to put it up. Anybody familiar with the Denisonian Society? Yeah, okay, you got some Denisonians in here. That's what I'm talking about. So you familiar with this? So, right, being resolved, right? So we've been doing debates. I met a gentleman named Narky. I did a UGA. You know about Narky? Okay. Narky, he was just a master debater, and we said we merged the Big Chessing community as a Denisonian, and where we're doing work every year. We've been doing this for 10 years now. And the students get to debate. Exposure, exposing them to their community. Allowing them to see that it's more than just what's happening in your backyard, right? Problem solving. AI literacy. We just launched a new AI platform called Dream Engine Kids, and we're able to connect with kids in all over 7 different countries through this platform. But the kids are learning coding. We're using AI as part of some of the developments that we're seeing, and using that to start coding some of these robots, teaching them how the world works. So we're using this through our problem solving programs, all the things that we do. Civic leadership, right? Teaching them about how community work, how local politics, who's your mayor. Let me ask you all a question. Anybody know what district do you live in? Who's the mayor of Athens? Okay, we know that much, right? Who's your commissioner? Right? But this is important. I'm not trying to put nobody on the spot. When we're talking about resistance, we need to understand how systems work. We need to understand the power players that run some of these systems, right? So simple things, understand what district you live in, right? Who's your commissioner? And you have access. That person works for you, right? You have access to that person. So this is part of what we do as far as teaching a lot of young people how democracy works. What district you live in? What is the org structure that runs this community? And these kids get to learn this in real time, right? Now I'll introduce you to Mr. Bryce, right? Bryce, we got him when he was a little teeny-weeny guy just coming into middle school. And now he graduates this year. He graduates this year, right? We just had our conference, and he was one of the recipients of our conference. So we're not a program that we just get kids in for a week 2 weeks, and we give them a certificate. This is a program that we get them from middle school, and we work with them, the growing pains, right? So we work with them through the process until they graduate, and upon graduation, they get a Think Before You Move scholarship. And again, none of this could be done. I know he's like, don't do this to me, life. But one of the people that help with the scholarships is Mr. Grady Thrasher and Mrs. Kathy Prescott. They've been instrumental in helping us getting all these scholarships. And we've awarded over $90,000 to kids over the years since we've started. Right? Let's keep going. Right? So now you get to see the fun. If we know that we have a literacy issue, we can talk about resistance all day long, but if we don't understand basic literacy, do you know how to read? Right? So what do you see? We bring these kids to the campus. The programming that we do is not just about we just do a book club. We're going to do a book club at Tate. You're going to come in, you're going to ride the UGA bus to the Tate Center, and you're going to learn, you're going to read right there. And we do that during the summer, because none of y'all be there. You get a little more room. Right? But why is this critical? Because a lot of these kids on the way to college, you need to understand that experiential learning, right? In real time. So we have a person that holds a dictionary and another one that read in the middle. I need to know who can read and who can't read. And if you can't read, guess what? We're going to pair you with a nonprofit that we know in this city that deals with literacy, right? There's over 700 nonprofits in Athens, maybe 100 or something that are active. But now, how do we, again, put the bridges, feeder systems? If I know we have a kid that can't read, that's a feeder system into your nonprofit, right? Youth governance, right? These kids get to learn democracy at work in real time.
OCOEE.
Who's going to be the next president
A2000
and vice president of Chester community? You have to come, bring your friends, and you all go.
I had a chance to witness our chess and politics. It's more than just, teaching kids chess. A lot of people think chess and community is just about playing chess. A lot of people don't know about local politics. They only know about the presidential and vice presidential election, right? But the idea of chess and politics is to allow our youth to understand their role in civic engagement.
What did you think about the event today?
I thought it was a very, very good success.
It was very nice, very put together.
I thought the event was a very good way to bring our Athens community together in the form of the kids who were able to attend this. And we're teaching kids here leadership roles, how to be positive examples in their community. So hopefully we can make some kind of difference in this event and in the things that will come.
Okay, he spoke like a champ right there, right? There we go. And then we also know that the world is changing. And if the world is changing, guess what? We need to change with it. So we're going to get in the metaverse. Right? So this is, right now, through this program, and we're doing that with the University of Georgia, the engineering department, but also it's called Computer Human Ecosystem Center of Advance, called CATCH, pretty much. They created this space for us, and where we can have a lot of our students from around the world meet in this space, virtual reality, and we do debates in virtual reality, and we also do the chess in virtual reality. And you see that a lot of students are afraid to get up on that stage. You put that thing on them, they're like, so it's like you meet them where they're at. So I'm showing you that, hopefully you're able to see that we have to think outside of the box in the times that we're in. If you're only thinking about it to this, we're gonna miss the boat. You have to think outside the box in this process. All right? Also kayaking. Believe it or not, I'm from New York City. I never even knew that it was a river in the back of Athens. I never knew. Somebody saw Life Degree, one of the documentaries, and it was like, man, I would love to take the kids water rafting. I'm like, I don't know, I ain't touching the water. I don't know. But I started, I fell in love. But guess what? The experiences that I didn't have, but I wasn't exposed to, now you get to allow others to be exposed to. Now they get to ride up and down the river, clean up the river, ecosystem, learn about the environment. Right? So this is critical. This is what's happening in our own backyard. Let's keep going.
So everything looks. Did I notice that? Like everything looks.
The other one is called chess and kayaking, right? So we also put the chess on the water and we start playing. I'm joking with that, right? But the idea is we incorporate the chess element into all of this. You see the theme? Chess and climbing, chess and kayaking. I hear you. I hear you. I'm with you, baby. I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. I got you. I got you. I got you. All right. Chess and climbing. This is climbing Stone Mountain. Giving the kids a chance to
So
see.
everything looks. Did I notice that? Like everything looks real calm from up here. Everything looks really, really calm from up here. But we came from down there, driving in all the traffic, but now we came all the way up here, and from this perspective, everything looks very calm. Everything feels calm. Remember this feeling. Like this is a feeling, the feeling that you have when you're looking out, that feeling, you can come back to that feeling anytime you want to. When things are getting hectic around you, you can come back to this feeling of looking out at everything.
So y'all getting a peek
So
into some of the
everything look-
therapy we do, right? So we usually charge for this type of therapy. I'm joking. I'm joking, right? So what? So you get to see in real time. What else we do? We talk about intergenerational healing circles. COVID actually stopped this. The oldest in the room, God bless his soul, he's no longer with us, Mr. Thompson, and the youngest in the room was an 11-year-old. And we do these intergenerational healing circles to get dialogues between the generations to talk. We bring police officers, get out of your uniform, come into the space, and let's just talk. Let's talk as a community. Let's understand each other. And this is something I'm giving you cheat codes, right? I'm giving you ideas for things y'all can do as part of resistance, right? Resistance don't always have to be something where we go out and set something on fire. Sometimes we can resist just in that act, the things that we do, and how we heal our communities. If y'all still with me, say yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's keep going, right? Every Monday at the library, open chess play. We've been doing this for the last 13 years. Yeah, he look at him, you know, he's like, I got you, right? So, we call it the mini UN. If you play chess, come meet us at the library, old, young, whatever, come on. You want to learn? Every Monday, we've been doing it for the last 13, 14 years, free, at the library in Athens. And that's where it started, right? We have spaces, let's utilize the spaces. I don't need to go create a whole nother building. Let's use the library. Let's use them all. Let's use the existing spaces that we have to make an impact, to make some kind of change. Let's keep going. How many of y'all like pizza? Chess and pizza, right? Chess and pizza. Let's go. Right? Little Italy, we're not doing that Little Italy no more. We're doing that Mellow Mushrooms. Then you can just go there in the bottom, the last Thursday of every month. We got you on pizza. You just can't eat more than one now. Come on. You know, college students come in, y'all bust it down. Right? So, chess and pizza. We got chess and ice cream. There's so much I'm not showing you, but these are ways, and hopefully you get the theme. We're finding ways to build communities. When we build stronger communities, that's the act of resistance. That's how we resist against any structures that want to destabilize and dismantle things. We build it through community. Let's keep going. Explore.
Right.
Go to
Nights
DC.
and things.
Go travel. Once we
Walking
give them a
towards the
calendar.
nation's capital.
Right? We give them a calendar. And once every month, you get a calendar, and you have to complete all the assignments. After a while, you gain points. And after you collect a certain amount of points, then you get to go on some of these trips. DC, NASA. We've been in all kinds of places. But the kids, you want to go, you got to put that work in. Some kids like, I just want to play chess. You can play chess, but you don't get to earn the points. So it's the point systems where you learn all the other activities. Financial literacy, civic engagement, civic leadership, local governance. All of those, the kids, I don't want to wake up Saturday and do this. You don't get no points. But I want to go to DC. I want to go to Atlanta. Well, you got to earn those, right? So let's keep going. Even for those kids that those warriors that we have, this is an opportunity for us to engage them as well, right? It's called checkbook. They get to go in there, and they get to release, and they get to, how do you engage discipline? How do we resolve conflict? Right? And this is what we do, chess and boxing. They go in there, they box, and they go and play chess. Now, are you able to think while your energy's high? While you're in that space, are you able to think? And this is how we work with them. So it's continued training. But this is one of my favorites. 2017, with the assistance of this community, we was able to bring kids from Athens to Ethiopia for 2.5 weeks. And it was a mind-changing activities for all those students. And I only have a few slides left, but I want to go into it.
As I sit here, breathing peacefully, I feel as if I shall forget everything and find myself. This is Ethiopia. A whole nother world. A whole nother culture I've never experienced until now. How did I get here?
Today's effort is to open up the world to a few young ones from Athens, Georgia. Visit and compete in chess competitions with youth in Kutuba, Ethiopia.
We recognize the chaos and the racial tension that exists in our society. And we have a choice. We can either feed that wolf, feed that part of us, or we can feed that part of us that can heal. We're gonna take some of these young guys to Ethiopia.
When you go to a place like Ethiopia, where people who look like you have been kings and queens and scientists and architects and engineers and educators throughout the history of mankind.
I was amazed. I felt like I was extremely important. You know, I felt like this is a big thing for me and them also. Like everybody's learning.
Exposure.
This was the best thing that I could by far do in my whole entire life, is come on this trip. And I'm glad I did.
Right? And so why do we do what we do? Right? Because it's one thing for me to carry all of, the experience, and I want to make an impact on the world, and it's another thing to clone myself. Now, I'm not into cloning, but how do you clone yourself in the sense of developing the next generation? Right? So once a year, we put on a conference. And everything we do, we train the debates, with the public speaking, with them learning about financial literacy, with everything we do throughout the year, we train them so that they can lead this conference. It's a youth-led conference where they get to introduce speakers, they get to engage with police officers, with local politicians, with everything, but it is a youth-led conference. We literally just had one a couple of days ago, right? Saturday, and it was a phenomenal conference. But you get the chance to see what this conference is, and then we train chess players. We train young kids to be leaders, to think critically, to think 5, 10, 6, 7 steps ahead. But then how do we actually apply that to life?
And ultimately, let the world see how we're using chess to change the world.
One more time, y'all. Let's get some love for these young men and young ladies. This is what we're about. Today we're celebrating the 11th annual Chess and Community Conference. We're at the Classic Center in Athens, Georgia. This is the rain. It's so beautiful to see so much people coming out. We brought the city out. We had some people online tuning in. It's just going amazing so far. Good job. Stop it.
Okay. Where I come from, the community around it is a lot different. And having this new experience of like people, chess bringing people together, across diverse backgrounds. So I think of the chess and community event as convergence, from people from all walks of life.
And so one thing that I'm creating right now is an opportunity for people who see space in a different lens, and also those who never thought they could go to space. I'm creating a lane for that.
So the idea of bringing NASA in was a way of saying, let's think planetary, let's think bigger than where we at. And we have to always kind of think about how do we bring about any type of change when you bring these three elements together: cultures, systems, and leaders. We're only getting started. This is only the beginning. All right, so let's start talking about impact. Like we're talking about our partnerships from 3 different countries. We're talking about youth development in DC, Athens, Macon, Atlanta, and all this started in Athens, Georgia. All this started, as a poet at the early stage, word of mouth, going there and releasing my anger through poetry, right? And finding that community that was helping me to grow what we're doing across the world, right? Over 100,000, excuse me, I don't know where that, okay, that zero ended on the bottom. Over $116,000 worth of scholarships and awards that we've been able to award since 2012. We're talking about volunteer hours. We're talking about the branches, only conferences, events that we put on all throughout the world. And again, this all started right here in Athens, Georgia. What else we seeing? Right now, we have our sites. We have a chess and community Costa Rica. We have a chess and community Brazil that's in the growing, that's in the moment. We have we're in 4 schools in Dominican Republic. Eswatini, we have partnerships there that we're working with. So again, this is the work that we're doing is starting to really blossom throughout. Are we looking on time? I just want to make sure. Are we doing fine? Okay. So where else can you find our work, right? We've been featured in a lot of different spaces, newspapers, articles, news, in all these different areas. And again, think before you move, right? So this is chess and community, all right? So again, the work is about, we saw a problem and we know the problem, how are we looking to resolve it? Like this is an issue that I saw in my community, and I said, you know what? I am going to play my part in making an impact and making a difference in that, right? So now you will get a chance on Saturday to meet a lot of our young people that's going to be able to train you all and teach you all and show you some of the artwork. Now, this is important. I want you all to get a chance to see some of the work that we're doing here, right? So the work at the jail is we're bringing a lot of the art pieces there, and we create these spaces in where a lot of the incarcerated bodies, they're able to articulate what do they see. And we set up, I'm there for 2 hours every Thursday, and we get to have dialogues around these pieces and talk about ways and how they can come back in the communities and make an impact. Now, another point, you'll see some of these other flyers. I don't know if you see, we got little robots. If you come on Saturday, you'll be able to play with some of these robots. We probably won't be flying none of these drones, right? Because I don't want to, University of Georgia policy. So we won't be flying any of that, right? But you'll get a chance to meet a lot of the young people and see as far as some of the impact that we're having, and get to meet them and talk to them and learn about, let them tell you about some of the things they're doing in their schools and some of the things and some of the ways that they're making an impact. So I want to open up the door. I want to open up this floor for any questions. And please, not all at once. Yes?
Do you have another big trip planned, like the one where you went to Ethiopia?
So I don't have we had one, and then COVID came and said, nah, you ain't gonna know, right? We have one set for Jamaica, but COVID stopped that. I do have a Dominican Republic trip planned, but that's more to connect some of our students from Athens with the students in Dominican Republic. And it'll be good. I would love for y'all to learn about Dream Engine Kids, because this is a platform that we use for the artificial intelligence, the AI, and we're now allowing kids from all across the world to meet and play chess and to engage and to learn and to build together using AI. So that is one of the things that we're going to be doing in the Dominican Republic. Any other questions? Yes.
How do you do this work and also maintain yourself while doing it?
Oh man, so it's something called, liquor and I'm joking. Right, that is a really good question, right? Because a wiser man once told me, if you chase 10 chickens, you ain't catching none of them. Right? So the idea is to try to build at least a little hen house in where you're able to do the work. Because for the first, I would say, 5-10 years, it was passion. I was like, and I didn't have kids. You have kids, everything changes, right? It was passion, but I knew what I wanted to see in this community. When I learned, and you'll see, there's a documentary called Life to Griot that was also put together by Mr. Grady Thrasher and Kathy Prescott. It's called Life to Griot, and you'll see a lot of the early stages of the work. And in this, when I learned that $77 million through the SPLOS, anybody ever heard of the SPLOS? What is that? Special Purpose what? Local Option Sales Tax, right? Through the SPLOS, right? This is your money, right? You come there, you drink and all that. That money, that taxes is going into, you can actually build in the city, right? So through the SPLOS, I've learned that $77 million was going to expand in that jail. And I was like, whoa, we could for sure find better ways to do with this money, right? So this is one of the motivations for really starting this conference and allowing the community to see these are the youth voices, and the kids will come up. We post the kids with the questions. If you had the money, how would you use it to build and expand this community? And the kids would write, man, I would do this, I would do this, I would engage in this, I would build a space for this. And we invite judges and invite community owners into the space so they can hear what the kids are talking about. And they can start to implement some of these processes. So I went around my elbow to get to my behind, but I'm gonna get there, right? So how do I find the time to do this? And now, instead of being on the ground and going as crazy as I did, there's something called an org chart, organizational structure, right? You gotta develop an org chart. And on that org chart, I'm the executive director. So I have to get the developmental director in space. I have to get the program director. And me, I still want to be on the ground and do all these things because that's just the energy that I have in me. But developing that org chart, and now I'm finding my space, my time more in trying to at least lead and guide and train the next generation and allow them to do more of the work. That don't mean that I can just sit down and chill and get a drink. I still get out there and do the work, but I try to at least give the next generation power. So it was a lot easier for me to put it all under one. So get chess. How the hell we get into robotics from chess? Okay, we know that STEM is a big thing. So if these kids are into chess, and if you find more chess players, they're always inside of their heads. They don't really like, they don't like circles. They, inside of themselves. So it was like, okay, let me at least get y'all to start working together to build robots together and code robots. And now we're going to build robots so that we can move the chess piece. And they started doing it. So now we give them additional skills. Also allowing them to communicate. We brought the debates. We brought other aspects in there. So I started with a point, and then I just started to build around it. So I find time in the sense of now I've learned to balance a lot more, whereas before I used to run myself crazy, right? So work smart, not hard. Any other questions? Yes. With UGA students? Oh, you should have said that first, right? Now, boy, there's so many different ways because there's so many different skill sets that you offer into the space, right? And it's a symbiotic, right? We can learn from each other. So, some of you bring, marketing, you bring, I'm a photographer, I'm into coding, or I'm into, spreadsheets, and whatever your space may be, we need you in this space. And most important, a lot of these students have all kinds of interests and things that they like, and it's easier for us to pair them with they need help with tutoring, they need help with all kinds of different things. So if anybody is interested in doing any type of volunteering, or you want to get some credit hours and yada yada yada, there's an opportunity for us to do that. So thank you so much for that question. Right? Any other questions? Okay, so it is only right that I close with a poem in the spirit of Aralee. All right? Now here's the thing. Now, you know, Mr. Grady and Miss Kathy, they'll tell you now, I have ability to start trouble when I do my poetry. Right? So I'm a troublemaker themselves. Do you want me to stay surface or you want me to go deep?
Deep.
Grady, they say go deep. Should I go deeper? This is called imitation life. No, warning, this does not reflect the University of Georgia. When the taxes taken from our weekly checks are used to build prisons that incarcerate us, school curriculums that educate us, and pay for the salaries, weapons, and training of police officers that target us, then it is fair for me to conclude that we are financing our own destruction. A degree earned from the prestigious dungeons of Yale and Harvard are merely pieces of paper which requires the signatures of only men. Only men. These mortal masters would never expose you of your godly identity, for they possess finite knowledge, finite wisdom, and finite understanding, which they have carefully wrapped under layers of social conditioning, colorfully camouflaged as school spirit, go dogs, athletic altars, gladiator worship, packed coliseums, Greek life and letters that symbolize brotherhood through broken pride. Virgin's innocence ripped when cardinal seeds and bearcats collide. Drunken frat boys become scholars of our moral authority, and we give them power to enforce policies that dictate how we should raise our children. Mental Holocaust is being committed in class chambers where the souls of students are solicited to corporations that subscribe their humanity to your straw man. Cap and gowns like black hooded robes are worn in public initiations, aka school graduations, where the new graduates are given degrees as janitorial keys to the Tower of Babel, where each floor is layered with secret handshakes and coded languages to control the perception and behavior of the sleeping mass. For we see clearly the signs of deteriorating times, but still recycle our children through revolving doors of spiritual death, where we encourage them to close their universal portals of infinite knowledge, infinite wisdom, and infinite conscience that guides us through our intuition. But we gladly trade that for a college tuition so that we too can possess expensive cars, elaborate homes, 20 plus years of student loans that fuels the engine of this capitalist system that operates under the premise that money will continue to grow on our family trees. It's like every branch of our sanity is shredded into currency that rotates from paycheck to taxes, taxes to government, government to institutions, institutions to employers, employers to employees. And when your candle of life melt away or is blown out, by the same breath that blew life within you, we leave behind trails of material possessions, wills that divide families, bills that drives us to financial insanity, but we are then prescribed prescription pills to help recover this humanity that we have suffocated with the pillows of imitation life. Life is not your expensive vehicles that eventually rust within the windows of a decade. Life is not our mansions that have become our prisons by owning and enslaving us through mortgage debt. Life is not your 2 to 12-year degrees you're ingrained into your identity. Life is that force that peel back your eyelids to the morning sun. Life is that 2-second vision of clarity piercing through your cloudiest moments. Life is that voice of inspiration that constantly draws you back to yourself. Life is, and life will be once we learn to listen, function at our highest spiritual potential. Thank you. Now, if it was up to me, I would run around doing poetry. But I realized that, okay, I can still do the poetry, but it's more important, equally as important to resist through other ways as well. To bring another generation of students, young people who have the power, who have the minds, who have the ideas to bring light and make this world better. My father used to always say, you gotta leave the world better than you found it, right? So I'm just doing my part, and I'm challenging you all. We are all pieces of a puzzle. Do your part. And disclaimer, right? That poem was not for you to drop out of college. Please don't. I can't afford your tuition or nothing, right? I can't do that, right? But it's that understand what you're getting. Understand that you are given access to power, and utilize that power to bring about the changes that we know is needed in this world. And again, once again, my name is LaRoche. You can find me, you can QR code, you can see all the work that we do, and you can talk to your teachers or your professor. And I am humble. I'm going to continue to be around this community. If I still got the life in my lungs. And thank you all so much for allowing me to speak life into you.
Thank you.
Inspirational talk and showing how community and art can be enacted to resist and be resilient. So thank you so much.
Thank you.